What's good, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk. Today, it is Victory Tuesday, not Victory Monday, Tuesday. So we'll be going over the Steelers' win over the Colts, the latest Steelers injury news on guys like Najee Harris and Levi Wallace, and then I'm going to be giving out my Week 12 game balls. I got 4 people that I'm going to be giving out a game ball to this week after the win against the Colts on Monday Night Football. But before we get into all the action, we have been challenged to yet another sub battle. We haven't lost a sub or like battle yet this season, Steeler Nation, and I don't plan on losing one now, especially to Falcons today. We are playing the Falcons this week, and guys, we need to win another sub battle. We need to keep this thing. We need to keep us undefeated in this category. So if you love the black and gold, you want to help Steeler Nation win another sub battle, and you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and help us win. If that's not enough motivation, all right, we're doing a promotion this week where every 50 subs that we get, every 50 subscribers, new subscribers, we're going to slap me in the face with a tortilla once again. You guys watched that video where Abby slapped the crap out of my face that one time. If you want Abby to slap me again, or if you're new and you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Support the channel by subscribing and help us beat Falcons today in our sub battle. All right, now let's get into the news, and let's start with Najee Harris, who left the game yesterday with an abdominal injury. Now, when I was watching the game, I kind of thought that it was his foot, right? He's had that foot injury that's been bothering him throughout the season, and he was kind of limping around. He looked kind of ginger, and, he had that touchdown. He had, 35 yards in the game yesterday. Looked pretty good when he was in the game, but then he kind of came off the field, went into the locker room, and we don't have a whole lot of information when it comes to this injury. All we know is that it has to do with his abdominal region, and if it's a sprain, guys, or a strain, it could take him out for multiple weeks. So let's take a look at the running back depth chart, where we currently have the running back 1 and running back 2 on the Steelers roster hurt. Jaylen Warren sat out this week with a hamstring injury, and now Harris could be out a couple weeks potentially with this abdominal strain, if that's what it ends up being. You got Derek Watt as your fullback, and then Benny Snell, we'll get into him a little bit later. He played great yesterday, and McFarland did a good job as well in relief of the 2 starters. But at the end of the day, I really liked what I saw from the Steelers' run game. But again, we'll get into that later in the show. All right, guys, like this video to wish Najee Harris a speedy recovery, all right? We know how important he is to the Steelers offense. He's a very talented player, a very good guy as well. So if you want him to get a speedy recovery here over the next couple weeks, or possibly even play this week, like this video right now. All right, now let's get into the Levi Wallace situation. And, it was a really weird kind of situation yesterday where in the fourth quarter, he just gets pulled from the game from the NFL spotters. And, what most likely has happened is that they saw something congruent with a head injury that they took him out. But the NFL has not given us an answer on this yet. They just haven't. And Mike Tomlin was, in his post-game presser last night, was very frustrated with the NFL for not giving him an answer as to why they were pulling Levi. And it's just a weird situation. It's like, why don't you just tell us what was wrong? Was he wobbling around? Was he shaking his head? Is it something with concussion? Is this gonna be something that takes him out for next week's game against the Falcons? I would doubt it. He seemed fine on the sideline yesterday, but I mean, you never know with these sorts of things, especially head injuries. But my guess is he's gonna be just fine at the end of the day. All right, guys, up next, I am going to hand out my Week 12 game balls. I got 4 of them I'm giving out this week, but before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor at Fanatics, who is offering you guys, and they sell terrible towels. If you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, guys, and you don't have a terrible towel, you're not really a Steelers fan, in my opinion, all right? I got mine right here, right? And guys, yesterday in Lucas Oil Stadium, right, in Indianapolis, it was a beautiful sight when the Steelers were winning and we were scoring touchdowns, seeing those yellow towels flying in the air. It is the symbol of a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So if you don't have one yet, go ahead and use our link, chatsports.com/terribletowel, to get yours today from our sponsor today at Fanatics. I got mine from Fanatics. I love it. It's one of my prized possessions, guys. I love it so much. You're going to love it too. Great delivery times as well. Go ahead and go to our link at chatsports.com/terribletowel to get yours. All right, now let's hand out some game balls this week. And my number 1 game ball goes to the quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, man, it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, but he took another step in the right direction, in my opinion. Over 70% completion percentage, 174 yards. He looked decisive. Matt Canada was kind of scheming things open for him, and he was getting the ball out of his hands quickly. No touchdown passes. He did miss George Pickens in the end zone when they were in that red zone trip towards the end of the second quarter. But this is the third game in a row now where he hasn't thrown an interception. That was his big thing in the first couple of weeks. And now, it seems like he's progressing. He's seeing defenses a bit better, coming into the league where he was getting all these exotic looks. It was kind of spooking him a bit. Now he seems to be a bit more comfortable in there, getting rid of the football, finding his open receivers, and it was fun to watch. And we're starting to see what Kenny Pickett, I think, has a chance to become later on in his career. I don't think he's going to be like this dynamic superstar type talent that's, making crazy plays, but I think he's somebody that can get the ball out quick, deliver accurate passes, and be a distributor, and then let the run game work, let the defense do its thing, and with a good head coach, good defense, a good surrounding cast, he can be somebody that the Pittsburgh Steelers can win football games with, and he proved that last night, and if he gets even better, I'm very excited to see what he can do. All right, guys, grade Kenny Pickett's performance in Week 12 against the Colts on Monday Night Football. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give him an A-. It wasn't a perfect performance. There was some missed opportunities in the red zone and on third down. But overall, I really liked what I saw from the kid, and he is definitely taking steps forward in his progression here in his rookie season. All right, my second game ball goes to Benny Snell Jr., the running back. He came in. He was the third-string running back in this one, and by night's end, he was the number one rushing option. He was fantastic in this one. He got a touchdown in the second half, the deciding touchdown, actually. 12 carries, 62 yards. Looked really, really good out there. I really like what Matt Canada in this offense is doing in terms of shifting to more of a power run scheme. I was a big fan to see what Benny Snell did yesterday. Now expect to see him more in the lineup, especially if Najee Harris is out in the future. And for Warren, for that matter, as well. Warren could be out too. So I would expect to see Benny Snell get a lot more carries this week against Atlanta and in the near future if Harris and Warren need to miss more time. And even if they are healthy, I expect Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada in this offense to really prioritize Snell as like a backup option because he really showed some good things yesterday. He gets my second game ball. My third game ball goes to Matt Canada. All right, you guys know that I have been super critical of Matt Canada this season, but give the guy his due, man. The last 3 weeks have looked good, and yesterday looked good as well. 346 total yards of offense. Kenny Pickett, he was scheming things open for Kenny Pickett all night long. I mean, Kenny Pickett had over 70% completion percentage, and he missed some open receivers. Like, that's how much Matt Canada was scheming up George Pickens and Deontay Johnson last night. Rushing yards with two backup running backs. They got 172 yards. Kenny Pickett also did a good job with his legs as well. Third down, 50% on third down is a pretty solid number, especially for this Steelers offense. And then in the red zone, 2 out of 3 opportunities, they scored a touchdown. So Matt Canada, give the guy his due, man. Like, he came out of the bye week, and the run game has looked a lot better. They've shifted to more of a power run scheme as opposed to the zone run scheme that they wanted to run coming into the year. And, I mean, the offense looks better. I mean, he still needs to keep it up if he wants to keep his job, in my opinion, but give the guy his due. He gets a game ball. He deserves it. The offense looked good in this one. All right, now my last game ball, another guy that I've been critical of this season, Arthur Maulet. He was the star of the defense yesterday. He played less snaps than he usually does because the Steelers played that 3 safety package more than they usually do with KZ, Fitzpatrick, and Edmonds on the field. But when Maulet was in the game, he took advantage of his opportunities. He led the team in tackles with 10. He had a sack, which was, I mean, that was ferocious, that sack was. And then he had a tackle for loss as well. So this is somebody that I think is a good pass rusher from that nickel spot. He's been kind of susceptible in man coverage this season. He needs to be more consistent. Like in the Saints game, he was pretty darn good. In this game, he was good. But then against the Bengals last week, he got absolutely cooked over and over and over again. So I need to see more consistency from Arthur Maulet if he wants to earn a position in the starting lineup for next year's team. But as far as this game goes, he was the best defensive player, maybe besides Alex Highsmith, but I was excited to see what Arthur Maulet did in this one. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's show. Where are my real ones at? If you are a real one, if you are a real Yinzer and made it to the end of today's show, type "Here we go" in all caps in the comments section. All right, Yinzers, that's going to be it for today's show. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and until next time, peace.